Welcome to Stories Before 3 a.m., where we delve into 3 bone-chilling horror cases that will keep you up tonight. Get ready for a spine-tingling experience. The murder cases occurring nearly every day reveal the increasingly deteriorating human condition. People resolve issues by killing each other, using force and power inappropriately, leading to losses and sometimes complete breakdowns from impulsive actions. Or worse, some acts are meticulously premeditated by the perpetrators. Some cases, though not reported in the media, are just as brazen. Even without news coverage, wrongdoers don't escape the law's grasp. They inevitably face the consequences. One evening, a call alerted the police about a body found in the roadside weeds. From the clothing, it appeared to be a woman. Officers responded immediately to the scene. The body was of a middle-aged woman, hidden in tall grass. The initial examination revealed the cause of death: a blunt force trauma to the head and multiple stab wounds to the abdomen. This was a murder case involving an unidentified woman, known only as Jane Doe, due to the lack of identifying evidence. Her body was stored at a nearby hospital, and 2 officers, Lieutenant Thomas and Lieutenant Joseph, went there to collect evidence for DNA testing to identify her and check for missing persons reports. At the hospital morgue, they collected samples, though decomposition had already set in. Lieutenant Thomas took hair strands still attached to parts of the scalp, sealing them in a plastic evidence bag to be sent to forensics the next day. They locked the evidence securely in the station's desk drawer and retired for the night. All on duty, including those resting, had to keep their walkie-talkies on the same frequency for emergency communication. The static from the walkie-talkie suddenly filled the air.
Help.
A woman's desperate cries for help echoed out through the static, sending chills down the spine of everyone present. Switching channels silenced the voice, but returning to the original frequency brought it back.
Help me, please.
The static from the walkie-talkie suddenly filled the air. A woman's desperate cries for help echoed through the static, sending chills down the spine of everyone present. Switching channels silenced the voice, but returning to the original frequency brought it back. The cries persisted all night, sometimes fading but never stopping for long. The station was filled with the haunting pleas of the unknown woman, heard by everyone, including Lieutenant Thomas and Lieutenant Joseph, who lay sleepless, unnerved by the inexplicable voice. By morning, the cries ceased. One officer questioned if someone was playing a prank, but the bizarre event left them skeptical. Lieutenant Thomas shared his suspicion with Lieutenant Joseph that the cries might be linked to the evidence they collected. "Did you hear it too?" Thomas asked. "Loud and clear. It's impossible to ignore that," Joseph replied. "Do you think it's related to the evidence we gathered last night?" "I suspect so." They decided to inform everyone at the station about their theory. Once the story was out, the tension eased as officers stopped blaming each other for a prank. However, some remained skeptical, considering it might be interference from another frequency. They quickly took the evidence to the forensics lab, and after it was handed over, the eerie voice never returned. They advised against storing similar evidence in the station again, fearing what might come next time.
The cries for help were believed to be from the murdered woman, seeking identification through DNA to bring her killer to justice and to reunite, even in death, with her loved ones. Fortunately, it was just a voice this time. A visible apparition might unsettle the entire station, as the chilling cries alone had already done. Accidents on the road are an ever-present danger. Striking without warning, reckless driving, or careless pedestrians can lead to sudden and often fatal crashes. Sometimes, the aftermath is a chaotic chain of collisions, with cars spinning out of control, smashing across medians, or flipping violently to the other side of the road. Even those who slow down to gawk at the scene are often caught in the deadly web. As the saying goes, if we don't hit them, they'll hit us. Such is the grim reality of the streets. One dark night, a large group of teenagers gathered to celebrate a friend's birthday at a well-known nightclub. As the clock struck midnight, signaling the start of November 25th, the group raised their glasses and sang. The birthday girl was a charming young woman named May, turning 25 that night. It was the age many believed could bring misfortune, the dreaded quarter-life crisis. But not everyone believed in such superstitions. Some even thrived during this supposedly cursed time. "Happy birthday, May! Wishing you all the best! Cheers!" screamed Nina, a close friend, her voice full of joy. "Thank you, everyone, for coming out tonight," May shouted back, raising her glass high. "Cheers! Let's clink those glasses." The group erupted in a wave of celebratory toasts, their laughter echoing through the night. "If you're not drunk yet, we can't be friends," someone joked. "Order another round. Tonight we're going all out," May declared. The party went on until the club finally closed its doors. By then, everyone was thoroughly intoxicated. May had driven her car, with Mark, another friend, following in his vehicle. They all agreed to continue the celebration at May's house. "Hey, Mark. Make sure you follow us closely, okay?" May called out. "Sure thing. But is no one riding with me?" Mark asked. "Anyone want to ride with Mark?" May echoed. "No way. I'll stick with you, May. It's more fun that way," giggled Lisa, another friend from the group. "All right then, let's drive safe and meet at my place," May responded. Mark ended up driving alone, while the rest of the group piled into May's car. May sped off into the night, heading for the main road, eager to continue the birthday festivities. Mark, initially close behind, had to make a pit stop at a gas station, delaying his arrival. When Mark finally reached May's house, he found it eerily quiet. The house was dark, and there was no sign of his friends. He called May's phone, but there was no answer. He tried calling the others, but no one picked up. Mark waited anxiously for nearly an hour, growing more worried by the minute. Desperate, he decided to drive back the way he came, hoping to find his friends. As he retraced his route, he slowed down, scanning the road for any sign of May's car. Traffic grew congested, and soon he saw flashing police lights ahead. His heart sank. There had been an accident. Mark's car crawled forward until he reached the scene of the crash. His blood ran cold as he recognized May's car, crushed nearly in half, its front end wrapped around a large utility pole. He pulled over, his hands trembling, and raced towards the wreckage. "May!" Mark's scream pierced the night. He had to see for himself to confirm the nightmare was real. The sight that greeted him left him paralyzed with grief. May and their friends, lifeless, crushed in the mangled remains of the car. Mark's world spun. How would he break the news to their families? What would he say? He didn't know. He couldn't even think. All he could do was sob in helpless agony. All he could do was call May's parents to tell them the unthinkable. and it was a blow no parent should ever have to bear. To lose a beloved child, especially on the very day they were born. May had died on her 25th birthday. Once the scene was cleared, the police towed May's car to the station, where it would be held for further investigation. The car was a sleek sedan, a nearly million-baht birthday gift from her parents that year. It was the car she had longed for, the car she had received on her birthday, and the car in which she had met her tragic end, along with her friends. As with any fatal accident, the authorities needed to investigate the cause, collecting evidence from both the car and the victims' bodies. Forensic officers arrived at the station within 10 minutes to examine the car. 3 officers, 2 women and 1 man, entered the garage where May's car was stored. They began their meticulous work, unaware of the chilling events about to unfold.
Haha, drive faster, May. I want to keep partying.
A voice suddenly echoed.
Yeah, the sooner we get there, the better. Woohoo!
Another voice cheered. But the officers continued their work, seemingly oblivious to the voices coming from within the wreckage.
Wow, your car rides so smoothly, May. I love it.
Your parents really went all out, getting you this car for your birthday, huh? Cheers to them.
The voices giggled.
Cheers, I'm drunk, May. When are we gonna get to your place?
This has been the best birthday ever. I'm so happy you all came.
Another voice added. The voices of the dead echoed from within the shattered remains of May's car, where the officers were gathering evidence. But the officers remained focused, oblivious to the spectral conversation. Once they finished, the officers packed up their evidence and photographs, heading back to their vehicle. As they drove away, Officer Ann, the female officer with a sixth sense for the supernatural, spoke up. "Did anyone else hear that?" she asked, her voice tense. The other 2 officers exchanged puzzled glances. "What do you mean?" "I heard voices in that car, women talking. It sounded like they were celebrating someone's birthday," Ann explained. The officers exchanged nervous looks. Ann continued. "And when I turned around before we left, I saw them. 4 or 5 teenagers sitting in that car, still having a good time. They didn't seem to realize what had happened to them." Ann had always had a strong sensitivity to the paranormal, often hearing and seeing things others couldn't. But this time, the presence was stronger than ever. Likely because the victims had died on a day that should have been filled with joy. A day when they were still reveling in the gifts and the company of their closest friends. Unaware of their tragic fate, the spirits of May and her friends remained trapped in their final moments of celebration, their joy undimmed by the horror that had befallen them. But one day, they would realize the truth, and when that moment came, they would be left to mourn the lives they could never reclaim. The lives that had ended so violently, so suddenly, on May's 25th birthday. As for Mark, the friend who narrowly escaped death, he remained haunted by guilt, withdrawing from the world for months. He couldn't shake the thought that if he had convinced just 2 or 3 friends to ride with him that night, they might still be alive.
Lord Indra is the mighty deity who reigns supreme in the celestial realm of Tavatimsa. His body glows with a brilliant green hue, and he possesses 1,000 eyes that see all. Armed with a powerful Vajra, a thunderbolt, he rides his majestic 3-headed elephant, Airavata. As the guardian of human welfare, whenever turmoil arises on Earth, his once plush and soft seat turns uncomfortably hard, sometimes becoming so scorching hot that he cannot sit upon it. The reason for recounting the tale of Lord Indra is because the perpetrator in this chilling case claims his involvement. Whether he truly is remains for the listener to judge. The underlying cause, however, is said to stem from a restless spirit, wandering without a home or kin, seeking someone to accompany it in the afterlife. This case involves a mother, her aunt, and her grandmother, who conspired to murder a young girl, their own daughter and granddaughter, intending to offer the child's spirit to Lord Indra. The mother claimed to be a medium, but the horrifying truth was that fear drove her to commit the unthinkable. Mediums are believed to communicate with spirits or the supernatural. It is said that one can only become a medium if they have a special connection with the spirit world, much like the tormented mother in the story. Night after night, Maya, a pseudonym, the mother of little Anna, a pseudonym, dreamt of an old, emaciated woman with a ghastly pale face begging her for food and clothing. Despite making numerous offerings and dedicating merits to the spirit, the old woman never left. The spirit, initially appearing only in dreams, began manifesting in physical form, causing Maya immense distress. Desperate, Maya sought her own mother, Judy, for advice. "Mother, what should I do? I've made offerings, given alms. But she's still haunting me," Maya pleaded. "I don't understand why she won't leave. Maybe she's not satisfied yet. Keep making merits for a while longer," Judy suggested. Maya followed her mother's advice, waking up early to prepare food for almsgiving herself. She visited the temple regularly, dedicating merits to the spirit. Yet the old woman remained. 2 days later, while Anna was doing her homework at the usual spot, Maya was in the kitchen preparing dinner when she heard a voice behind her.
"Your daughter is lovely."
Maya turned quickly, but saw no one. Peeking into the living room, she saw Anna still engrossed in her homework. Shaking off her unease, Maya returned to cooking.
"Can I have her?"
The same eerie voice asked again. "Who's there? Stop playing tricks on me!" Maya shouted, her voice trembling. That night, Maya dreamt of her daughter walking away into a thick fog. Anna turned and smiled at her before disappearing into the mist. Maya awoke with a start, tears streaming down her face, terrified of what might happen next. The following morning, she recounted her disturbing dream and the previous day's events to her mother. "Mother, something strange happened yesterday." "What is it? Is the old woman still haunting you?" "Yes, but it's worse than that," Maya responded, voice shaking. Judy listened as Maya described the voice asking for her daughter. "What are you going to do? This is getting serious. Your sisters have also been feeling a presence in the house," Judy said with worried. "We need to discuss this together and figure out what to do," Maya decided. Maya, Judy, and Maya's sisters gathered to discuss their haunting experiences. Each of them felt a presence in the house and had strange dreams involving Anna. "Do you think it's a woman or a man?" Maya asked. "A woman. An old one," her sister replied. They all exchanged worried glances. The household consisted of 5 women: Maya, her mother Judy, and Maya's 2 sisters. Maya and Judy claimed to be mediums, able to communicate with spirits. The sisters, although not mediums, could sense something was wrong. That evening, after Anna returned from school and settled to do her homework, Maya, cooking in the kitchen, glanced at her daughter with a heavy heart. Suddenly, she was startled by the sight of the old woman standing beside Anna, caressing her hair and smiling menacingly. Maya blinked, and the woman vanished, leaving Anna alone at her desk. Maya continued cooking, deeply unsettled.
"So, will you give her to me?"
the voice asked coldly from behind. Ignoring it, Maya focused on her cooking, her hands trembling.
If you don't, I will bring ruin to your entire household. Don't believe me? Just wait and see.
The voice threatened. Maya kept her composure until Anna was asleep, then gathered her mother and sisters. They shared their own terrifying experiences. Judy's fall down the stairs, Maya's sister being defrauded of her savings, and the other sister's tragic loss of her love in a car accident all pointed to the spirit's malevolent influence. Maya, fearing for her daughter's safety, decided she had no choice. Overwhelmed by dread, she believed the only way to end the torment was to sacrifice Anna to appease the old spirit and protect her family from further harm. The murder shocked the community. Maya claimed she offered Anna's spirit to Lord Indra, but her mental state deteriorated. Those who doubted her story believed she had a pre-existing condition, and her actions were the result of a breakdown, known colloquially as madness. After the horrifying deed, the family was shunned by their community, condemned for their cruelty. Neighbors forbade their children from approaching the family, and whispers of their monstrous act spread like wildfire. Unable to bear the sight of them, the neighbors reported the family to the authorities. When the officials arrived, they uncovered the gruesome scene. Anna's lifeless body lay in the house, a tragic testament to the family's despair and fear. The officials arrested the family, their faces etched with a mix of disbelief and horror. The community, now fully aware of the magnitude of the tragedy, watched in stunned silence as the family was taken away. But as the story comes to a close, one must ask, was it truly a malevolent spirit that drove the family to such extremes? Or was it merely the manifestation of their own fears and delusions? If you enjoy our content, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and ring the bell icon so you never miss an update.